Welcome to Deep Psyche. Have you ever felt as if your life is being shaped by forces that have nothing to do with your true self? As if unseen hands were quietly rewriting your priorities without your awareness, let alone your consent? Why is it that as we grow older, we're expected to carry more? More expectations, more roles, more emotional obligations. Somewhere along the way, authenticity gets buried beneath the weight of who others think we should be. Carl Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what happens when others begin to ask for parts of you they were never entitled to in the first place? In this video, we'll explore 5 silent demands no one has the right to place upon you, especially not now, when your path should be shaped by inner truth, not outer pressure. Because the moment you learn to protect your peace, everything begins to realign. And in that stillness, your real life begins. 1. Carrying burdens that aren't yours. There comes a moment in life when you stop being the rescuer in other people's chaos, not out of coldness, but out of clarity. You finally understand. Caring doesn't mean caring, yet some will still ask you to do just that, to step in, hold things together, and fix what was never yours to begin with. You say yes once, out of kindness. The second time, it's expected. Soon it becomes a quiet contract. What began as a small favor turns into a silent role. The glue, the fixer, the fallback. And when you try to step away, guilt pulls you back in. But the truth is this: carrying what isn't yours will always cost you. Not just your time or energy, but your peace, your health, your sense of self. You are not a safety net. You are not a backup plan. You are not the eternal savior. And anyone who treats you as such has already crossed a boundary. The longer you carry their weight, the further you drift from your own life. 2. Lending money without a real emergency. There's a certain silence that falls when someone you care about asks for money, not because they're in crisis, but because they've made poor choices and want you to absorb the fallout. It's a silence laced with pressure, guilt, and emotional leverage. You're my father, my sister. You have to help. But do you? At a certain stage of life, lending money is never just about money. It's about what that money represents, the security you built over decades, the peace you earned, the sacrifices that shaped your stability. When you give it away, you're not just losing dollars, you're surrendering a piece of hard-won calm. People may say they're asking for help, but what they're really doing is outsourcing accountability. And when you say no, the story flips. Suddenly, you are the selfish one. But where's the self-responsibility? Who's asking whether they truly deserve what they're demanding? Don't confuse generosity with self-erasure. Protecting your boundaries isn't cold. It's wise. You've done enough. You've earned the right to say no more. 3. Mediating in family conflicts. Family conflict has its own gravity, subtle, heavy, and often inescapable. You try to stay out, but then come the pleas. Please talk to him, Mom. Fix it with her, Dad. Suddenly, you're appointed referee in a game you never agreed to play. Here's what no one says aloud. Some conflicts are not yours to resolve. Being the peacemaker may sound noble, but too often it makes you the emotional scapegoat, the one caught in the middle, blamed when reconciliation fails, burdened with wounds that aren't yours. And all the while, your emotional energy, already finite, is drained trying to mend what others keep breaking. Imagine this: your children arguing over your home before you've even left it. The place you see as sacred becomes a battlefield of ego, entitlement, and old resentment. Then comes the quiet pressure to step in, take sides, or keep the peace. But peace born from suppression isn't peace, it's performance. That is no longer your role. Your energy now belongs to healing, to self-discovery, to peace that's rooted in truth, not obligation. Let others take responsibility for their own growth. You are not the keeper of unresolved wars. 4. Being asked to change who you are. It often starts quietly. Someone says, "Don't wear that. That music doesn't suit you. Stop talking like that." It sounds casual, but what they're really saying is, stop being you. And that, in its essence, is an assault on the soul. You have spent a lifetime becoming this version of yourself, through joy and heartbreak, through victories and mistakes. Every habit, every quirk, every scar tells a story. You are not a phase to be updated. You are not a rough draft waiting to be revised. When someone asks you to change to fit their world, what they're truly asking is for you to abandon your own. But staying true to who you are is not rebellion, it's preservation. Because once you begin silencing yourself to maintain peace, you lose something that cannot be easily retrieved, your essence. You are not rigid, you are rooted. Rooted in a life you've earned the right to live and love as it is. Never trade your authenticity for someone else's comfort. Jung taught that wholeness comes from integration, not adaptation, and your wholeness is not up for negotiation. 5. Prioritizing their emotions over your own. Perhaps the most subtle form of self-abandonment is this: shaping your life around someone else's emotional comfort. If you really love me, you'd do this. Please just don't make me feel uncomfortable. What they're really saying is, your truth disrupts my illusion. But this is not love, it's control. When your happiness becomes a threat to others, when your growth makes them uneasy, and you're asked to dim your light to keep their world undisturbed, what's being demanded is not connection, but compliance. And compliance, when constant, becomes erasure. Your emotional world is not a stage for someone else's approval. Peace is not found through sacrifice when that sacrifice costs you your joy, your voice, your wholeness. The years ahead are not for appeasement, they are for alignment, for truth. For living in accordance with your soul, you are allowed to say no, to choose joy even when it's inconvenient for others, to feel deeply, to live freely, to be fully yourself. Because you've earned that right again and again. These 5 requests: unclaimed responsibility, financial rescue, emotional mediation, self-erasure, and surrendering your joy for someone else's comfort, share one silent thread. They chip away at your peace, and peace, once fractured, takes a lifetime to restore. So ask yourself gently but honestly, who in your life has made these requests? And more importantly, why did you say yes? You are not here to be a lifeline, a bank, a buffer, or a scapegoat. You are here to become whole, to protect your inner sanctuary, to walk your path with clarity, with courage, with compassion. This is not selfishness. This is individuation. This is strength. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these resonated the most? Have you lived through something like this? Share your story in the comments, and if you made it to the end, write the word intact. It tells me you're here, fully present, committed to honoring what matters most, your peace. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Nusi's, because the truth may sting, but it's also what sets us free. Until next time, protect your peace. It is the most valuable thing you own.